Welcome to our 3x5Y root cause analysis training. This is a addition to the 5Y analysis training that we have. And we have this because it helps us to go even deeper, right? 5Y's analysis, root cause analysis, is all about getting deep into the problem. And so we use 3x5Ys to get deeper in. And to that point here, what I want you to be aware is we've got a few different recordings that you should probably watch before you watch this video, because we're going to build on some things that we've already explained, especially in the problem statements video and the previous 5Ys video. I'm going to reference some of the things that you've already heard there. So if you haven't watched those videos yet, I highly recommend going and watching those now. I will do a brief recap for you, and I just want to touch on a few really important points when you're approaching the root cause analysis. One is, remember that we have to start with a good problem statement, and that when we think about problems, we think about them in two ways. One way is there is some expectation, some standard, maybe a customer set, maybe the business set, and there's how we're currently working. And those two things, there's a gap between them. Here's how we're supposed to be, here's where we are, that gap is our problem. We can also have a different kind of problem statement, which is there's some future that we're trying to achieve, some improved state of working, maybe faster delivery, better on-time service, something like that. And there is a current state that's not up to that level yet. That gap is another problem that we can go and do our root cause analysis against. So first things first, let's make sure we have a good problem statement. Let's make sure that problem statement is very clear to everybody. It's easy for others to understand why they're going to want to help us or be part of solving this issue. And then once we jump into our root cause analysis, let's remember that a cause can have multiple effects. An effect can have multiple causes. And our 5Ys analysis is exploring just that. The last thing that I want to point out on this slide is that cause and correlation, causality and correlation, are not the same thing. And the example I always like to share is if it's if we have a lot of umbrella sales, we probably also have a lot of car accidents. And we never say that umbrella sales cause car accidents. That would be silly. We recognize that rain is a common factor that actually has the causation. So the correlation of umbrella sales and car accidents doesn't necessarily mean that we found root cause. And so when we're looking for root cause, we want causation, not just correlation. Okay? So with that, let's talk about a specific problem that I recently experienced. I have to do laundry. We all have to do laundry. Hate doing laundry. It is what it is. And on May 12th, I was doing laundry and my dryer shut off, right, after about an hour of operation. That stunk. That was really irritating. And so I picked up the troubleshooting manual, the instruction manual, and looked at the troubleshooting area. And I found that the dryer will shut off when the heat sensor gets to 150 degrees or over. And that's a safety precaution, right, to make sure that we don't burn down our houses. But I said, why is this heat sensor going off, right? So here's my problem statement. My dryer keeps shutting off after I run it for more than an hour. And my first why is because the temperature sensor detects the heat in excess of 150 and shuts off. So why is that happening? Well, because I look and I go and see that hot air is not able to escape through the vents. And I go, well, why isn't the hot air escaping from the vents? And I look a little closer and I see, oh, the vents are clogged. Well, what are the vents clogged with? Why are these vents clogged? Well, there's too much lint. Well, why is so much lint collecting inside of my dryer? Well, because there are too many turns and twists and crimps and all kinds of things inside of that venting from my dryer, and that's causing this buildup of lint. Well, that right there is a technical root cause. And what that means is, specific to my situation, right? I have this problem of a ductwork that goes back and forth and sideways. And in my specific case, that's causing, right, the accumulation of lint in the ductwork, the clogged and the lack of venting, and eventually heat being trapped and not escaping. So I need to look at relocating my dryer to somewhere where I can get a straight shot. That's specific to me. That may not be a problem for my neighbor. That may not be a problem for the building down the street. And that's a key point when we're thinking about technical root cause. Technical root cause is very specific. So let's talk a little bit more about that. When we're thinking about technical root cause, we want to recognize that we're looking at a specific incident. How did it occur? How was the problem produced? This is very tangible. The other example I like to give when I talk about technical root cause is somebody asks you why the lights are on, and you said, well, because the light switch is on. Okay, that's a technical root cause. Doesn't necessarily explain why you turn the lights on, right? Or why they're not turned off at a certain time, but it explains why the lights are on. Very technical, very specific. And so we look at technical root causes as a first step when we do 3x5 whys to understand the specific issue, all right? And so that's why it's so important. Let's just talk about a few general tips that you should think about when you're looking at technical root cause. You want to make sure, just like in any 5 whys, we've said this before, that you have simple phrases, simple statements. Stay focused on a particular issue. The more specific, the better in technical root cause. Clear and concise statements. Sometimes they seem very obvious. Why is the light on? Because the light switch is on. Okay. It's worth getting that sort of obvious point noted, right? You will move on from there, but it's worth getting that obvious point noted. And so that's an important point of a technical root cause. Recognize that things can branch out. And that's true for really any type of root cause. And so you want to think about, again, that an effect can have multiple causes. And so we might branch out from that effect into multiple different channels. And we want to explore each one. That's really important. Recognize also that we may not, well, one, we don't want to rush to conclusions. So we want to take our time. And that's the hardest thing about 5 whys in general, is taking our time and not rushing. We'd like to go look at the process. Again, technical root cause, this is very powerful because it's specific. So we want to see the specific area where this is occurring. And we want to continue to explore all branches until we've really exhausted all of our thoughts on what could be causing this technical issue. All right? And that's pretty much it. The last point, just keep in mind that if you get to somewhere where you're talking about management, money, the market, things out of your control, that's not a great place to go do your solving because you can't control it. We're looking for things that we can change and are within our scope of responsibility that we can control. And so we might have to go back up to the 4th why or the 3rd why to actually get a solution in. Okay? So I'm going to leave that there, and we will continue, and we'll talk about what the 3 in the 3x5 whys means. Okay? So thank you very much. See you soon.